Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild Event Planner. I am Guardian Namek, Guild Leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the Invasion event, where we are using Merfolk, where 90% of the Merfolk are from Merlantis. And after running some numbers, here are the units you want to use. So this is the team I plan on using. Everyone should be using Balrog, as he is the key unit for the week. He will be the tower destroyer. His spell does bonus damage to towers, and Siegebreaker means bonus skulls to towers. So most likely you'll have him up front, unless you have another tower killer. Then you may have them up front, but Balrog will be doing most of the spell damage. I am then going to be using the Ocean Star weapon, as it explodes a bunch of gems, grants a status effect, and summons. Or you can use the Three Graves weapon, which does exactly the same thing. I do not know why we now have two weapons that have the exact same mana cost, exact same kingdom, and exact same effect. I guess the only difference is the fact that this is a staff versus a polearm. But at most that means like 3 extra mana or magic, which it's just not doing anything. So it's like, why is it exactly the same? But past that, I'm going to be using the axolotl, as it gets to make a mixture of blue and green, which helps charge the team, and also has blue link. And then I'm going to be using Azura, as she also gets to blow up blue gems as a backup. Like, oh no, my first person's not charged, but this one is. And then she gets to do chaos damage to all enemies. I count the eliminate a random skill as chaos damage because it could be magic, could be attack, could be armor, could be health, could end up being armor while they have no armor. So it is useful, but not super useful. If you're looking for other options, here are some other good troops to use. Normally, if you're just looking for Merfolk in general, Nemu is not a bad one to use. And even now, she's not too bad to use, as she gets to do skull busting, which is an effective thing to do. The issue is that she's just not as strong as she usually is, because we're going to be fighting towers. Towers are immune to silence, and pretty much every other status effect. But in normal gameplay, if the enemy is not immune to silence, silence is incredibly powerful, because you basically deny, no, you don't get to cast any spells, nor do you even get a charge up. So she's not a bad unit to use, she just isn't really useful in this case. The Deep King is also really good for damage. Now, again, we're doing invasion, so most of the damage will be dealt by a tower killer, but if you don't want to use a tower killer or just looking for good merfolk to use, the Deep King is actually really good. The true damage splash is incredibly powerful. If it was just a single target splash, it'd be really good. But it's splash on 2 enemies, which is just really effective. And then the Submerge helps with a few units in Merlantis, as they have bonuses for submerged units. The Shocktopus is also surprisingly great. It is not in Merlantis, but it is a merfolk, because it gets to destroy 8 gems and then deals damage, true damage, to enemies of that color. Now, it's kind of gotten outdated, because back when it was really good, you really didn't have many units doing true damage to enemies, not let alone AoE true damage. Now, it's pretty good. It's still very solid due to the fact that it can do AoE true damage, but it's just not as good as it used to be. Still very solid for a merfolk damage, though. And then, onto the mana generators. The Sea Witch is akin to the Axolotl, but they enrage and submerge the target, and then also gives 24 life. So they are a nice little healer. but they do cost a little bit more, and more importantly for my things, they're the exact same mana as Azura, so I was like, that's gonna be an issue. As I was mentioning earlier, this one creates blue gems boosted by submerged allies, which the Deep King can help with, as he can easily submerge other allies. And this is just nice, simple, akin to a worm, where it's dealing some damage and creating a bunch of blue gems. Now these kind of units I'm going to start dubbing as journey style characters, not because they do the damage, create 2+2 gems style, but just because they get to do some damage and they help with mana generation. As the blue manatee charms an enemy and then converts all red to submerged gems, so they do some damage and they also generate some mana. Nice and simple, and a nice combo. So they're neither good mana generation nor good damage. They are just a very solid combo, which makes them quite decent. Now, if you're needing some tanks for this event, or anytime you plan on using Merfolk, the Wave Rider is fairly good, not as a tank itself, but by being a buffer, as they can give an ally 28 armor, barrier, and submerge them, which basically is going to be a case of you give them a little bit extra durability, you give them barrier so the next hit they take is nothing, and submerges them means, hey, AoEs don't get to affect them. So it's an effective, like, you are better at being a tank ally, and for a fairly low mana cost. The Mer Knight is on a similar vein, but it itself is the tank, as it'll gain life, boosted by blue gems destroyed, and submerge and barrier itself, so akin to what the Wave Rider is doing, for a little bit more mana, and only to itself. Now it does exploded gems, so it gets a little mana back, but it really comes down to the case of if you want to have a Merfolk team with a tank up front, or do you want to have someone being designated as the tank. If you wanted extra durability for the invasion event, I highly suggest using the Wave Rider, as that way you can keep Balric up front or another tower killer. That will allow him to do his siege breaking damage while also being extra durable. Overall, there are a lot of decent Merfolk units. Most of them are like fairly decent, but not really noteworthy, hence why they have been not noted. But the ones I have talked about are usually on the higher end of abilities. I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players at Gems of War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.